Salutations, one and all, and welcome to a very special edition of the Poetry of a Promo, because this week we honor the godfather of heavy metal music. We honor the prince of darkness. We honor one John Michael Osbourne. Some of you may know him better as Ozzy Osbourne. Now that we've gotten out of the way, are you ready? I am. It's time for a history lesson with the Wordsmith here on lovewrestling.ca. Buckle up, because we are boarding the crazy train, and we're not stopping until we get to 2021. Enjoy the ride. All aboard, as we're in the beginning, on December 3rd, 1948, the godfather of heavy metal was born. That's right. John Michael Osbourne, better known as Ozzy Osbourne, was born in Birmingham, England. Birmingham. It's not very nice there. I've been there. It's rainy. No, I'm kidding. I love Birmingham. It's great. Now, over the years, he's made several impactful and some less impactful appearances in the WWE universe, also the WWF universe, but they're kind of the same. It's a multiverse, and they kind of collided. But you know the story. Panda bears. I don't know. Moving along. Moving right along. Now our story begins with WWE in the early years of one WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania 2, the second one. And Ozzy was there. What was he doing there? I hear you ask. Why was he there, Wordsmith? Why was he there? Explain. Well, he was there with Captain Lou Albano and the British Bulldogs. That's right. England's own British Bulldogs and Ozzy Osbourne were together on that very night at WrestleMania 2. And Ozzy accompanied them to the ring, and he cheered them on to victory over Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Greg Valentine. Great stuff. Great stuff. He had blonde hair back then. It was a time where I could relate to him. I still relate to him, but for different reasons. I digress. After his appearance at WrestleMania 2, you could say that Ozzy went through a blizzard of changes. Huh, see what I did there? So, yeah, those of you that know what I'm talking about, you know. Those of you that don't, He went through a blizzard of changes in his personal life and in his lineup for his band. But my personal favorite addition to his band came in 1988, years ago, when Ozzy would find himself being joined by what can only be described as a Bond bombshell of a man by the name of Zakk Wylde. Speaking of Zakk Wylde, and for those of you that were listening to the promos for this particular episode, this is the bonus portion, because when one thinks of Ozzy in recent years, one can't help but think of the burly Viking guitar-dominating man-beast that is Zakk Wylde. So join me now as we journey through time to experience both of their tales in the wrestling world. Bear with, I promise. You might learn something. Actually, no, you might not. Maybe? I don't know. Well, before Ozzy would make his triumphant return to the WWE, I find myself experiencing a bit of a gap in content. However, upon looking through old wrestling footage, I have noticed one thing amongst wrestling fans and wrestlers alike. They appear to have the same awful taste in music. From The Undertaker to Bully Ray to Vampiro and even B.G. James. That's the Road Dogg for those of you that didn't watch TNA wrestling in its early days, which you should. It was, what's the word? Good S word. It was good S-H-I-T. I won't say it, but I'll spell it. Now, what do I mean by this? How do I know that all these people have the same horrible music taste as I do? Well, one logo in particular shows up across multiple federations through the years. The unmistakable top and bottom rocker with a skull in the middle belonging to the one and only, the almighty Black Motherflippin' Label Society and their leader. That's right. He heads his own band. And their leader, Zakk Wylde. We spoke about him a few moments ago. He gets around, I suppose. Now, eagle-eyed fans would notice a cameo from Zakk at the 1999 SummerSlam event. Now, this was a match for the hardcore title, so Lord knows, but somehow this match left the arena. It was the 90s. I can't imagine why it left the arena. It left the arena and it made its way over to a local watering hole. And of course, I mean, it made it over to the bar. And who so happened to be there but Zakk Wylde, enjoying what can only be described as a few adult beverages. And if you watch this event, you may notice he gets involved. Enjoy it for yourself. You're welcome. Now, for a really fun fact, something that has nothing to do with WWE, WCW, TNA, or what's that other one? It's got two vowels and a consonant. A-E-Y? No, that's a vowel sometimes. Anyway, I digress. We shall continue. For a really fun fact, the Black Label Society, along with their leader, Zakk Wylde, the inaugural guests, the inaugural musical performance, and eventually the first guest commentators on the very first episode of the short-lived and incredibly underrated Wrestling Society X. Ladies, gentlemen, babies, whatever. If you do not appreciate potential and just throwing everything at the wall, do not watch Wrestling Society X. But if you are looking for an experience unlike any other, that defies logic, that defies time, that defies the universe itself, go and seek out this short-lived promotion, Wrestling Society X. Vampiro can also be seen on many of these programs, wearing the Black Label Society colors, and by that I mean the vest. They don't have a different shade of black. It's a vest with their colors on it. I shouldn't have to explain this. Anyway, moving right along. Going to jump around a bit here, folks. We're jumping to 2009, when a press release came out from Impact Wrestling. Seeing as how this is poetry of a promo, I shall read this promotional piece of material. Isn't that nice? Longer episode and the Wordsmith read, I know. Guitarist Zakk Wylde of Black Label Society will be performing the national anthem at TNA's Bound for Glory pay-per-view this Sunday in Irvine, California. TNA President Dixie Carter added, "We are thrilled to have Zakk join us at Bound for Glory. Without any questions, this will be the most memorable event in TNA Wrestling's history. And we are certain Zakk will start the show with a performance people will talk about for years to come." It's good. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs, cats, lizards alike, in my opinion, all of this checks out. You can watch it for yourself. YouTube, Impact Plus. Check it out. It's actually a pretty good show. However, at that very same event, somehow Mr. Wylde and friends found their way down to ringside for Team 3D. It's Bully Ray and Devon, formerly known as the Dudley Boys for the uninitiated, who just so happened to be very, very close friends with Zakk Wylde. They bonded over music and bad fashion, I suppose. No, I jest. They bonded over music. Somehow they made it down to ringside for their match, Team 3D, that is. Their match against the teams of Booker T, Scott Steiner, the British Invasion, which featured Douglas Williams, and Brutus Magnus. Also, in this match, 4 tag teams in this match, Beer Money Incorporated. Oh, and I forget to mention, if you ever want to look this up, if you ever needed another reason to experience this match for yourself, it was a full metal mayhem match, which means no rules, tables, ladders, chairs, you name it, you can use it. It's fun. I enjoy this match. And for one particular reason. Because by the end of the match, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Zakk made his presence known by smashing a chair over Magnus's head. Also, I think he threw beer at him, but that's a waste of beer, and I will not dwell on it. It hurts. Also, fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, Brutus Magnus went on to become Nick Aldis. Yes, that Nick Aldis. So, will we see a potential feud between the wild man that is Zakk Wylde and the national treasure? Maybe not, but a boy can dream. So there's that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, back to the man in charge, the birthday boy himself, Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy decided to come up with a new record in 2007, and in May, I apologize, can't read my own writing. Wordsmith can't read. In May of 2007, at a smackdown in Baltimore, Maryland, to promote the song I Don't Want to Stop. He was there live, playing the song on stage to an entire stadium full of people. And the man beside him, well, it was none other than Zakk Wylde. Now I hear what you're saying, but Wordsmith, inform us. Why was this song allowed to be played on SmackDown? And why did they have to do it live? Well, fear not, I will explain. The song was being used as the theme song for Judgment Day 2007. So, why not play it live? It's a good song. Now, moving a little bit further in time, a little bit further, we continue to roll. Time is infinite and continuing. Ozzy later served as a guest host for Monday Night Raw in that awkward phase of let's have celebrities on Monday Night Raw. There were only a few exceptions that were good, and this was most certainly one of them. Now, in the opening segment, Ozzy was joined by the likes of The Miz, who was, let's be honest, kind of a jerk, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, who were fanboys and also shilling their own book, as well as Ozzy, who was also shilling his own book. But I digress. They were also joined by Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. and The Big Show, among others. Now, they were allowed to make matches because they were the hosts. Imagine that, giving Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon the reins of Monday Night Raw. The madness. I have the fear just thinking about it. They made matches, as I mentioned. Sharon, of all people, told The Big Show to, I don't even know if I can say this on Poetry of a Promo. She told The Big Show to suck it. My goodness, what happened on this show? But as if that wasn't enough, Raw's Got Talent was a thing that we were all subjected to. I mean, was a great addition to the show. Yes. Now, the hosts of this, I believe the terminology is judges today. Yes, I suppose. Does that check out? Yes. The judges of this competition were Sharon, Ozzy, Jerry the King Lawler, and the great Khali. Because reasons. Now, what exactly happened on Raw's Got Talent? Well, I'll tell you. It featured performances by Santino Morella, who was booked to sing Bark at the Moon, but ended up biting the head of a bat man toy. Chris Masters performed what can only be described as modern dance interpretation featuring his pictorials to the tune of Crazy Train. Imagine bum bum, bum bum, bum bum. You get it. Don't look it up. I mean, unless you're into that sort of thing. Prompting Ozzy to say, and I quote, "By a man bra." Now, As if it couldn't go any better than that. Well, it didn't. The last and least amount of talent came from Chavito. Yes, that's right. Chavo Guerrero and Jillian. Oh boy. And they sang a song, a duet. There's two of them, it's a duet. You get it. They sang the very, very, very well written and well performed, the original at least, version of Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne's song, Close My Eyes Forever. Now, how did this performance go, I hear you ask, Wordsmith? I hear you ask. I hear you ask. I hear you ask. I hear you ask the question. Well, if I could put forward someone else's philosophy, if I were to ask my very good friend, Mr. Bob Hawley, what he thought of this particular experience, this particular debacle, this particular abomination of a performance, he would probably say something along the lines of, the whole thing sucked. If I had to guess, that's what he would say. However, I think Mr. Osbourne had the best and most honest answer of the evening. And I quote, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to retitle that song and call it Close My Ears Forever." Absolute magic. It's terrible. It's terrible. The name is warranted. The name change would be warranted. Now, that was the last time we would see Ozzy on WWE television for quite some time, ladies and gentlemen. However, the Wild Man was not done. Because in my research, I have found something. The greatest rivalry of all time. What are you talking about, Wordsmith, I hear you say? Well, listen. It's what you're supposed to do in a podcast, aren't you? I am speaking of the 2017 Loudwire Music Awards, where Zakk Wylde took on The Miz in a rousing match from the 2K19 video game. Why was it so heated? Well, The Miz was talking trash on Twitter. Like a troll. Like a darn dirty troll, and you don't talk trash to a Viking god. For those of you that don't know what I mean, just look up a picture of Zakk Wylde in 2017 and tell me, would you pick a fight with that man? I definitely wouldn't. What happened on that night in 2017? Well, The Miz was vanquished soundly and sent packing. Zakk Wylde 1-0 against The Miz. Who knew? Ladies and gentlemen, and now we come to the conclusion of our story. The conclusion of this episode of Poetry of a Promo. It's a little long, I know. There's lots of information to get to. We come to 2020 with a little announcement of 4 games why do I bring up War Games 2020? Because Ozzy would ring out throughout the insert proper name for the NXT zone here. Sure, you'll correct me in the comments if you stuck around this long. And the song would be War Pigs by Black Sabbath. I have never heard a more fitting song for a pay-per-view than this. Well done, WWE. Well done. Now, that would be good enough, wouldn't it? However, in 2021, the godfather of heavy metal, ladies and gentlemen, would be a two-time Hall of Famer. That's right, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And now, in 2021, Ozzy Osbourne is in the WWE Hall of Fame. From the 1980s to 2020. Words cannot describe how happy and how amazed I am that this was allowed to happen. I must say, happy birthday, Mr. Osbourne. We look forward to seeing you very soon. Thus concludes this episode of Poetry of a Promo right here on lovewrestling.ca. I hope you've enjoyed it. If I missed a moment of their careers, please let me know. I will adjust it. I will fix it. Because that's how rock and roll works. I think. I don't know. I am the Wordsmith. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Poetry of a Promo. We did the thing. We got in the ring. Now ring the bell. Fare thee well. And rock and roll. Ta-ta for now.